All right. So, testing everything out, making sure everything is working before we start. Give it about 5 minutes until everyone is here. Just checking out the YouTube channel. Looks like it's receiving the content. It looks like my equipment over here is going good. I see the meter going high every time I talk. My dB readings look pretty good. Hopefully you guys are able to see me, hear me, and got a cup of coffee or whatever, something to munch on to relax and chill, because today is a good one. So let's give it a few. I'm gonna give it a few more minutes. Hi, for those individuals that are tuning in and you have the power to leave a comment. As always, leave a short comment, say hi, hello, let me know where you guys are from. I always love to know where this is going to. How far is it reaching? How far is the show, the server room reaching? You guys know the deal, right? So just leave a quick comment there. I'm going to try to get in between the chat and answer any questions you guys have. And if not, at the end of the show, we go over some of the questions, right? Hopefully they're not too hard. And I always have some awesome people in the chat room that kind of answer the questions for me. Thank you so much. So right now it is 3:01. I always forget the date. It is 3:01 right now, and it is May 27th, 2017, Saturday. With me, as always, the server room, and we are in episode 9. Holy crap, episode 9. 9 episodes so far. And I'm pretty excited about this episode. And the reason why I'm excited about this episode, because we're physically playing with an actual machine, and a real server this time. Awesome. No virtual machines. A little bit of virtual machine because my MDT server is within a virtual machine. So that's the only part that we're going to be dealing with. But everything is physical. So I have in the lab right now, which I'm going to switch the screen or switch the scene. So this is me right here. Hi, guys. So I have the Dell PowerEdge R730. I have 2 hard drives. I'm still waiting for the rest of the cradles to come in. But the 2 hard drives that I have right now are 4 terabytes. And as you guys know, if you want to take advantage of the 4 terabyte hard drive, you have to leave the server. You have to leave the server with UEFI, UEFI. I think it's called what is it? Damn, I forgot. Something extension firmware interface, something like that. So UEFI is the latest version of BIOS that a lot of us IT people have been struggling with deploying our operating system. And it's due to the legacy. You sometimes you might have to disable the UEFI and enable BIOS so your operating system could be deployed into your machine. Received a couple of machines that I just really wanted to take advantage of that mode, because the limitation of the partition is, or when you're installing the operating system, the partition size is greater than 2.1 terabytes, because that's the standard. BIOS, the master boot record, MBR, can only cap into 2.0 terabytes. If you have a 4 terabyte hard drive and you're installing the operating system, don't get me wrong, the operating system is still going to be installed, but it's only going to utilize that 2.1 terabyte, and then the rest of the stuff you can't use it, which sucks. So that means you have to take advantage of the UEFI mode, the firmware, and that has the max of crap. The limitation of installing an operating system with the size with the UEFI mode enabled is huge. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to be using the PowerEdge R730. I have 2 hard drives. I'm going to do a RAID 1 configuration, which is going to be a mirror, and we're only going to use that 4 terabyte, and we're going to install the operating system. We're going to do everything within our WDS/MDT. So let's get started. So I'm going to remove the lower third. Make sure you guys follow me at Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I'm everywhere. So just make sure you guys follow me. Make sure you share the video. push it out to as much of your techie friends. So just push it out. Make this show live and make it popular. So I'm gonna remove the lower third, remove the camera one. You should see me in the lower. Hello. So I'm gonna go over some of the steps that I did within my infrastructure, because I did a little management behind the scenes. I took some of the pictures. I took some pictures, and right now I'm gonna do a Control 4, because I'm using the Zoom utility. So I want to show you guys right now. I am using Lenovo's TD340. And the 340 only has 2 embedded NIC cards, or Ethernet ports. One is VM1 NIC, which is connected to my management port. This is not really best practice, but I don't want to spend money in purchasing another Ethernet card and adapter and all that stuff. So I'm just taking advantage of what I have, making it work for my lab. So the first port right now is my management port. That's how I connect to the ESXi server. And then I'm using pfSense as a kind of firewall / router to retrieve and assign an IP address to the WAM, and then the WAM is kind of providing internet access to the LAN of the pfSense. So I'm gonna show you guys right now. So let's go to the next picture. So this is my pfSense right now. So my pfSense, the WAM, which is the NIC one, which is retrieving an IP address, and that IP address is being translated to a LAN, and it's providing this subnet right here, okay? And if I get out of that and I go inside the settings of my virtual machine, now this is the settings for the pfSense. I have two NIC network adapters. My first network adapter is the one that's attached to the management network. That's the one that's assigned an IP address to the world, the WAM. And then I have a second one that I called it NAT network. Now, NAT network is the one, whatever VM I attach to this NAT network is going to automatically get internet access, because pfSense is configured that way. And if I go back to here, right here, NAT network, and I have all these virtual machines, that's how I'm getting, an IP address. Now, I didn't have this here. I had no adapter. You don't really need an adapter, but I added the second physical adapter from the server, and the reason why I did this is because this physical adapter is actually attached to a Giga switch. So I'm going to get out of this, as go inside my server. And so that second network port is just being routed to this little guy right here. It's 8 gig port. See if I remember the password. Awesome. So it's the SG200 8 port gigabit smart switch. The only thing that I did was I changed the management port and I enabled DHCP. And the first port, this port right here, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit for you guys. Awesome. So the first port right here is attached to the second network port of my TD340. Okay. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to attach that physical server that I showed you guys not too long ago, to one of these ports. So let's do that. Let's get out of here real quick. Awesome. And I'm going to do is switch the scene. Hello. Okay. So right now you guys are seeing the PowerEdge R730, and there's a blue cable. Okay. Hopefully you guys can hear me. All right. So you guys see the blue cable? This is the Ethernet. This cable is actually hooked up to this guy right now. So I'm going to plug it into the first NIC on the R730. Awesome. And I'm going to turn this bad boy up, and just give me a sec. I'm going to turn it on. All right. All right. So you guys probably going to hear the loud sound, and I don't know if you noticed, this little guy right here turned, or eventually this right there is number 6. So it's actually attached to port 6. And I got to make sure I pay attention, because I need to press F10 to get into the lifecycle controller, because that's where we're going to do all the magic. Again, I inserted 2 hard drives. I had to run over and do F10 real quick. So you guys didn't see it. I do apologize for that. So again, I just attached the server to the switch. Remember, we didn't have anything lit up, and now number 6, port 6 is the one that's lit up. That's awesome. And let's switch back to number 2. Right now, it is booting into the life cycle, because this is where we're going to do all the magic. Again, I have 2 hard drives, and the 2 hard drives are 2 4 terabyte hard drives. And these 2 4 terabyte hard drives, again, I'm just going to do a RAID 1 just together real quick. I am using, I believe it is, damn, I forgot what controller is it. I think it's the RAID R730 something. So right now it's booting up. I'm going to switch the scene so you guys can see, take a look at it. So it's booting up, and switch the scene again. This guy right here, port 6, is enabled, and this is the configuration. I didn't really do anything. I didn't change anything with the switch. The way that I want to push out my operating system with the R730, still using the UEFI mode, is taking advantage of Dhcp, because Dhcp, we don't want it to work against us. I mean, some of us already have Dhcp to work with UEFI, and I'm going to show you guys what I had before I started tweaking and making Dhcp work for me, not against me. So I'm going to make this small, and I'm going to close this guy up. Close that up. Let's go inside here. Okay, so this was, a lot of you probably said this or probably seen this in the past. This is what I had before I started making modifications, and I'm going to show you guys the modifications that I did. I did a lot of modifications. So within your DHCP, you have server options. You have your router, your DNF server, you have your DNS domain name, you have your boot server host name. Your boot server host name is normally the IP address of your server or the DNS name. If your DNS name is working within your infrastructure, you could just actually use the name of it, not the IP address. But I think a lot of people would like to use the IP address because it's solid. IP address is just solid, okay? And then you have the boot file name, 67. Now, boot file name could change. You have 2 versions. You can either use wdsmgfw.efi, which this boot file allows you to boot inside the UEFI mode, right? If you need to boot into the legacy BIOS, you need to change it to wdsnpp.com, right? And then make sure you got 060 Pixi client as Pixi client. Now, there's a problem with this. And the problem is, what happens if, and this works, don't get me wrong, this works with no problem, but there's an issue. There's always the possibility that you're going to get a machine that doesn't have UEFI enabled. You have BIOS. So that means you have to go inside your DHCP and change this boot file name into the correct version for you to deploy your operating system. I don't want that. I don't want to constantly go in here and change 67. So I need to make DHCP work with me. Okay, so that means we need to define a couple of vendor classes within our DHCP. Now, a problem with that is the vendor classes that the DHCP has, it doesn't really work for us. It doesn't work for UEFI, or it doesn't work for BIOS. You know, it doesn't work for UEFI 64, 86, or BIOS machines. So we need to define that, okay? Because by default, when you're creating a DHCP policy and you go inside the configuration wizard, the vendor class, you're only going to get the basic. You're going to get Windows 2000 options, Windows 98 options, and Microsoft options. Those are the only 3 that you're going to get. But we're able to create our own policies, which I'm going to show you guys. So I'm going to get out of here real quick. And I'm going to close this. And I'm going to close this guy. Awesome. And I'm just going to bring this guy up. Awesome, awesome. So right now it's up and running. That's number 6. Port 6 is what our server is attached to. And I'm going to switch the scene right now. And it's already booted up to the lifecycle controller. So within the, I'm gonna like see if I can move this guy. I'm gonna try to move the mic a little closer so you guys can hear me. So right now we're within our lifecycle controller, and within the lifecycle controller, I'm gonna go all the way to the bottom when I say system setup. And within system setup, we're gonna go inside the advanced hardware configuration. And once that loads up, you get a system setup menu. You got system BIOS, iDrake settings, and you got device settings. We're going to get into the device settings. Now, within the device settings, it gives you a nice little preview. It says the integrated RAID controller, which is the Dell PowerEdge R730 Mini. That's what we're going to be using. And then also gives you whatever integrated NIC that we have. We have 4 of them. And our first port is the one that is attached to our Giga switch. So I'm going to pick the first option, which is the integrated RAID controller. So we need to get into the configuration utility, so we are, we could get in there and start configuring our virtual disk. Now, you guys probably don't have the greatest view, so let me see if I could fix the view for you guys a little bit, so you guys can view. Give me 1 second. All right, so I'm going to see if I could adjust the view a little bit. Okay, so I'm hoping you guys can see a little bit now, a little better. Just a little better, right? I'm hoping you guys can see a little better. So right now we are at the integrated RAID controller main menu. You got configuration management, controller management, virtual disk management, and physical disk management, and hardware components. Now, I'm going to go inside the virtual disk management. And I don't have any virtual disks at all. It says unable to display virtual disk summary as there are no virtual disks currently available, right? Okay, I don't want you guys to think that I'm pulling magic and stuff is just working automatically. So I'm going to exit out of the system, this part of the system setup. And I shouldn't have exited, I should have went back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into the hardware components. And there's not much there. Just want to show you guys a couple of things. And actually, I want to go inside the physical disk management because I have 2 hard drives, SATA, 3.638 terabytes. That's how much it's reading, but it's 4 terabyte hard drives. And I got 2 of them. So I'm going to go back here. And let's just stop playing around. Let's let's get into the configuration management. And within the configuration management, we have auto config reg 0. We got to create virtual disk. We got create profile based virtual disk, which is pretty cool because it gives you a breakdown of RAID 0, RAID 1, RAID 5, and you pick your profile and it does it for you automatically. You could convert to a non-RAID disk or you could clear the configuration. For us, I'm going to do is create a virtual disk. And because I only have 2 hard drives, I can only create a RAID 0 or RAID 1. I'm going to make it super easy and do a RAID 1. And with the H730P Mini, once you pick the RAID 1, you need to select your physical disk. All right, so once you click your physical disk, you have a bunch of options. You have your select media type. By default, it selects the HDD, which is the hard drive disk. Your select interface type, it has SAS or SATA. By default, it chooses both, but you can modify that as you want. And your logical sector is set to, you can either pick 512 or 4KB or both. I'm going to leave everything as the default now, but I need to pick my 2 hard drives for this RAID 1. Once you pick your 2 hard drives, just apply the changes. It's going to say this operation has been performed successfully. Press OK. And you're going to get back here. So don't press back because you really didn't create the virtual disk. So you got to make sure you hit create virtual disk. And then you get this nice little window. You're going to click on the check that says confirm and hit yes. And once you hit yes, it's going to say the operation has been performed successfully. And we're going to click OK. And we're going to go back. And we're going to go back one more time. And at this main menu, we're going to click on Virtual Disk Management. And we're going to see our Virtual Disk 0 RAID 1, right? 3.638 terabytes ready. And right now it's doing initialization for the background. Okay. So switch it back over here. And hello, welcome back. So again, everything is looking good. I'm not going to wait for the background initialization to go through. I'm still capable of pushing out the operating system while that's still working for what I've tested, because I tested this out many times before I started doing the show for you guys. So let me stop talking and get into what I did. Okay, so let's close this guy up. All right, let's minimize it. So you're probably saying to yourself, Bernardo, what did you do for your deployment workbench, your MDT or your WDS? I didn't do anything. A lot of the magic happens within the Dhcp. So the only thing that I did within my MDT is the following. I created a task sequence. I created a folder. You know, you guys already know me. I love creating folders. And within the task sequence, I created a folder called PowerEdge R730. And within there, I created a Windows Server 2016-64. This is the name of it. And I'm going to double click on it. And I'm going to basically show you what I've done on this task sequence, which is not a lot. Not a lot at all. So what I did was I disable apply patches. And the reason why I disable apply patches is because I'm still using that reference image that we did together a while back. I'm still taking advantage of that guy. Why not? And the next thing that I did was I inject drivers, which I created a selection profile for the PowerEdge R730 drivers, which I'm going to show you guys where I got that stuff from. And for the install operating system, again, I'm using that reference image that we did together, still timestamped for 422. That was a while back. And that's it. That's the only thing that I did with this guy. This is a basic standard client task sequence, pushing an operating system. Nothing special with that. Now, depending on what vendor you have, a lot of vendors do it differently. I like Dell because Dell is really nice enough to provide deployment OS stuff for you. So if I go to the Dell site, this is typically what I would do. And I go into the support by product, and you locate your product. It's going to go to the one that I last, was searching. So you go inside drivers and downloads. Make sure that you pick or select the correct operating system. See, right now it's going to the Server 2012 R2. So just make sure you change it to the correct OS. For us, we're deploying 2016. And just go inside, refine results, and you locate this guy, drivers for the OS deployment. That's one of the things I like about Dell. They do provide drivers for the operating system deployment for you, which is awesome. Lenovo also has done that too. Some companies have done that as well. I've normally dealt with Dell. I'm a Dell individual. So once you download this guy, I already downloaded within on the desktop. So I'm going to show you guys. Let me minimize all this. So on the desktop, I got this guy right here. So the way that I deal with these exe files, I don't double click on them. I like to install 7-zip, and I like to right click on them. And within 7-zip, I like to extract the files. And I'm going to drop them into the desktop. So let's drop everything in the desktop. So this is the folder that it creates, and you get all this gibberish, but it still has that setup file. So you're probably saying to yourself, where the hell are the INF files that I need to import within my MDT? If depending on what vendor you deal with, Dell has a habit of hiding stuff. And if you go inside payload, you're going to get another zip file. So I'm going to extract that with 7-zip and drop everything in there. Now, it's going to give you a crap load. I don't know if you guys, I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to see if I zoom in. Well, it was too fast. But when it was extracting everything, you probably saw the INF stuff. But Dell has a habit of dropping like several goddamn folders, pardon my French, into their drivers. This is all the drivers. And you have to play around and search for it. they do provide you XML files that you could double click on them and you can navigate around. Like, for example, the PERC S130 controllers are located within this folder, CCY55. And this is the 2016 64-bit operating system drivers. So we locate this folder and you import that stuff inside your MDT. Don't get me wrong, you can actually tell MDT to take this path and import all these files, but you don't really want that because that's just too much drivers. So go inside one of these XML files, and within the XML file, it breaks it down on where you can find. Like right now, this line right here, this is for the Dell PERC, and it gives you the models H710 SAS RAID controller. And if you need the drivers for that, you just go inside XDGRC. So if we go right now and locate, what is it, XDGRC, which is this guy right here, double click on it. And more drivers again, you have to extract the crap. I mean, it's really crazy the way that Dell does it. Oh, why can't you just make it so simple? Look at that. It's more stuff. So that's what I did. That's how I prepped up. Once I retrieved all the drivers that I needed to do, I'm going to close this guy up. I went inside the out-of-box drivers right here. And within the out-of-box drivers, I just imported the drivers that I needed. Okay, so if I go inside my File Explorer, C drive, deployment share, go to out-of-box drivers, and you're going to see the SAS adapters. Awesome. And you're going to see all the system stuff that it needs for it to work correctly. Awesome sauce. So once I imported all that, I took advantage of the advanced configuration and I created a selection profile. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So I created a selection profile called PowerEdge R730 drivers. Again, if you right click and you just click on new selection profile and just follow the prompts. And within my selection profile, I did the following. I told it that I only wanted PowerEdge R730. So whatever is inside this folder, all those drivers are going to be pushed out. That's the reason within my task sequence, I changed the injet drivers to only push this out. Okay. Then I update it, right click, update my deployment share. I'm going to go to properties, and within properties, I didn't make any huge modifications within the custom settings on UEFI. It's basically the same thing that I've been using for the past couple of shows that we did together. So that's not really a big change. I'm going to minimize that. I don't really need to update it because I already updated it. And within WDS, again, as you know, once I updated my deployment share, I updated my boot image. And I didn't really do any modifications for this either. The magic sauce is this guy, the DHCP. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And I'm going to switch the scene because I want to show you guys. Look at that. Look at that sexy thing right there. So I want to go over the DHCP thing first before we reboot the machine, and I believe it's F12 to do the boot manager, the Pixi boot manager, and see if it picks up and does this thing. So switch back the scene. I'm doing everything. I'm the controller that switches the scenes. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm crazy. One man show right now. All right. So, like I said, the policies doesn't really have too many classes to do, so you need to create some classes. So what you do is right click on the PV4, and you're going to see define vendor classes. Now, I've been really busy and I forgot to give you guys the notes for the notes. I forgot to put down the notes for this show. But do not worry. Just once the video's done and it's already part of the channel, come back, leave a comment and remind me, because I got so much is happening and I forget sometimes. But I definitely need to give this stuff to you guys. So we need to create 3 vendor classes. One for the UEFI 64, 86, and you can actually create one for 86 and the 64-bit one. So I'm going to just click on add, and within the add you get a couple options: the display name, description, and you got to make sure that the ASIC right here, the binary, is the same, that matches. It has to be, it's case sensitive too. Again, I will add this stuff at my site so you guys can get a copy of it, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit one of them, and I gave it the name of that, and the description is basically the same thing that needs to be within the binary. Okay, so it's Pixi, all caps, client with a capital C, no space, everything is all together. We're going to do a colon arc, which is architecture, and capital A, no space here, colon 00007, 4 zeros with a 7. This number right here basically identifies that it is a UEFI 64-bit. 006 basically tells the DHCP that you're booting a machine that is a UEFI. It's in UEFI mode, and it is a 86-bit operating system at 006. Now, for the BIOS setting, you don't really need to do 2 because all 5 zeros is for 86 and 64. A lot of you probably complaining and yelling at me at the chat that it's not 86, Bernard. It's not 86. I know it's 32. I know it's 32. Okay, guys. I know it's 32-bit, not 64-bit. I mean, not 86-bit. All right. So I know. So once you have your vendor classes created, that means I'm able to go inside my policies, which I already created the policies, and right-click on your policies and go in new policy. And from here, you give your policy a name. All right. So blah, blah, blah. Give it a description, blah, blah, blah. And once you give it a description, click on next. And then from here, you click on add. And when you click on this drop-down menu, you're going to see those vendor classes that you created. Again, do not worry. I will provide this information. Just make sure you guys come back and just leave a comment, harass me and comment, and just to remind me. You pick your class. Make sure that you pick apprehend wildcard. I think apprehend wildcard is the one, right? And then you add it. So I'm going to close that up because I already did it. And let's right-click and go to properties on this guy. Okay, so policy name, I gave it that. I gave it a nice little description. The condition, this is the vendor class. It has to equal to that. So I'm going to edit that. And this is it. Okay? Again, I'm going to be placing all this information for you guys, so do not worry about it. Okay? So once you create that class, also for the IP range, okay, so within the DHCP standard, so let's do one together real quick. So let's right click, go to new policy, and let's just type YouTube, but I'm not going to hit OK with it. So let's press OK, and within here, we're going to click add, and we are going to let's do the UEFI 64-bit, and I believe it's apprehend, and we're going to click on add, and we're going to do OK, and we're going to click on next. Awesome. From here, when it says configure settings for the policy, do you want to configure an IP address range for this policy? Hit no. You don't want that. Click next on that, and this is where you start configuring those settings that you would typically do within your scope option. So that means you have to go inside and configure. Let me see if I remember top of my head. Go all the way in the bottom. We need to configure U. We need to configure U, and add all the settings, and I think that's it. Once you set that up, you hit next, follow the prompts, and then you're good to go. Then you have to do it 3 times, okay? Now, if I go inside my scope options, you're going to see all the good stuff. Again, I did everything behind the scenes. So, see these 3 files right here, these 3 policies? I did 60, 66, 67. Pixi client is pointing to the value of Pixi client, right? 66 is pointing to the server. I did it with the IP address, and the policy is pointing to that policy. And 67, again, with this policy, the 64-bit is pointing to this one. And again, you do it again. You do it again. 60, 66, 67, same values. The only thing that changes is the boot name, and you're changing the policy. You're pointing the policy to something else. And again, you do it for the BIOS setting. So this is for the BIOS. Okay, we're not using the WDS MGFW EFI. We're using the WDS NBP.com. Now, don't get me wrong. There's other ways to do this. If you have managed switches within your infrastructure, you could probably get into your switches and configure IP helper to point to this guy, your WDS server. You can configure it that way. There's several ways to do it, but I want DHCP to work for me, not against me. So this is the reason why I did all this. Okay. So once you have your DHCP up and running, again, I do apologize for me not having the notes ahead of time. It is time for you to boot your server. So I'm going to switch the scenes. I'm going to move the monitor a little close. Okay. And right now it's still initializing. I'm going to see if I could click on this guy right here. And let's go back. Hopefully you guys can hear me. It's 4%, but it's okay. I'm going to exit out. Hopefully you guys can see me. Hello. I'm going to exit out again. Exit out. I want to exit out to the point that it's going to say, hey, I want to reboot. So it says, do you want to exit and reboot? I'm going to say, yes, I want to exit and reboot. So we're going to let the server reboot itself. Once the server is rebooted, I got to pay attention because right here in the very top is going to give you an option to do a Pixi. And I'm going to make sure I do an F12. And if everything goes well, man, I'm hoping everything goes well. Ugh. This is always the scary part. This is always the scary part. So right now we're waiting. We are waiting patiently. And right now we have 10 people strong watching. I appreciate for those individuals that are here. I know it's Memorial Day weekend, so I wasn't really expecting a lot of you guys to join. But for those individuals that are joining, thank you so much, man. I know Memorial Day weekend, I'm pushing this out, I know, but I was really excited when I got everything working. I really wanted to share it with you guys, and I really wanted to have a physical machine. No more virtual machines, right? So F12 to Pixi. Right now it's Pixi booting. All right, right now it is Pixi booting. I gotta make sure I pay attention to it. All right, we're going pretty strong. No spikes. We're going strong. 36 minutes in it. Woo, sexy. All right. So right now we have 11 people. Awesome. 11 people joining in. I appreciate it. I mean, if you guys have feedback in the way that you deal with UEFI firmware and deploying your operating system, I'm always open ears and willing to hear. So let me run by real quick and see what's going on. All right. So I just press enter, because it's really quick. Right now, it's at the boot. So I just pressed the arrow key real quick because I wanted to stop the timer. And look at that. Look at that. Oh, my God. Look how sexy is that. Look, I know you guys can't really see it clear, but it looks awesome. Right now, it's read our server. It read our server, which is 192.168.1. And I'm going to switch the scene real quick, guys. Because remember. I just get so excited. I love when stuff starts working for you. Remember, my boot server host name is 192.168.100. So if I did the DNS name on it, most likely you just saw the DNS name on it. But because we did not use that, we got the IP address. So let's switch the scene again. Hello. And we're going to hit enter. Right now it is loading the files. And once it loads up the files, it should start our deployment. Oh my gosh, this is awesome. Again, I do apologize that I didn't have the notes for you guys ready. I've been so busy. I got a couple of things lined up for the YouTube channel, a couple of videos that I've been working on, and been really busy. But I know you guys are going to be on top of me and harass me to bring out the notes. And I will have, hopefully I can have the notes out by tonight. If not, just, continue harassing me with comments. So it looks like our deployment is loading up. It still has that beautiful background that we did together. This is the background for, I don't even know which episode we did when we did the BG info stuff, I believe, right? Was it the BG info? I don't remember. So it is loading up. my custom settings i9 file has, you know, not best practice, but it has the username, password, and the domain to log in automatically. A lot of people have different views on that, but hey, this is my lab, so why not do it? So what we're gonna do is I'm going to pick the the task sequence that I created, which is the Windows Server 2016 x64R PowerEdge. So I'm gonna pick that real quick and continue with the setup. All right, so I'm gonna pick it right now. Try to do it with my left hand and click on next on that. And right now it wants me to pick an application. This is up to you. I'm not going to install anything for now. I just want to deploy the operating system. I'm not going to capture it. Again, this stuff is still enabled is because my custom settings INI file, I didn't really configure it to skip this stuff. And we're going to click on next. And bam, it's going to go. It's going to do its thing. Awesome, awesome, awesome. It's going to do its thing. So there's a couple of things that I want to show you guys. It is install an operating system. I don't want to switch the scene, and all of a sudden, like, you guys, it didn't work. I want to continue having it on because this is so fly. This is pretty fly. But I'm just gonna switch the scene real quick because I want to show you guys something. So let's do a Control 4, and within the address leases, let's do a refresh. And this guy right here, this guy, 111 is actually the server. That's the server. Cool. Awesome sauce. So let's do this. Let's get into this. This is probably logged me off because it's in a timer. Did it? Nope, it didn't log me off. Cool. Awesome. So this is 6. Cool, it's full, 1000. Cool, I didn't make any changes on that. Where is that thing? I'm trying to remember. Where did I put you at? Where is it? I didn't make any huge modifications. ARP right here. Okay. Alright, it's looking good. I didn't make too many modifications on the gig switch. I just added in and just configured the management port as well as the enabled DHCP. So I'm gonna switch the scene back. I want to show you guys that it is 26%. Is going pretty fast. It's at the install operating system part, and it's going super fast. I'm hoping everything goes well, but I don't know. I'm super excited. This is awesome. So let's get into the chat. I'm gonna go all the way to the top and say hi to everyone. Hi. How is everyone doing today? Thank you so much for tuning in. And we finally got a damn a server in the damn lab to test it out. Right? Virtual machines are always easy, right? Everything works within a virtual environment, but when it comes down to a physical machine, it's like, oh man, it never works, right? So I'm trying my hardest to get different hardware, like physical hardware, so we could test this stuff out, especially with our deployment stuff. So, I want to, physically test it out for you guys. Oh, we got a lot of people. Oh, we got people from Israel. Awesome. Hey, Tony, good afternoon. We have here, quick question. A server which I am in, the time keeps going back 1 hour after 30 minutes. Have tried everything to fix it at this stage. Any ideas would be appreciated. Does the server, okay, if you're having server issues, so let me switch the scenes, show my big face. Hello. So we have a question here. Individuals having issues with a server. Apparently the server is, the time is changing every 30 minutes. It changes back. He changes it. He's tried whatever. For a couple of things, is your server fully patched? 2, if this machine is your, if someone has given you this machine for you to manage, make sure wherever the machine is located within the OU, within the organizational unit within Active Directory, it doesn't have a group policy that the time is not being changed. That's another way. Make sure there's no registry entries that are changing the time. Make sure that you don't have any task schedules that is changing the time. What type of operating system you're running? If you have Windows Server 2016, make sure that you have the location services turned off, because sometimes that kind of messes things up, the location thing, because it kind of changes the whatchamacallit, the time for you, and I don't think you want that. See, I'm checking my thing right now. I'm checking my 2016 machine right now. Here it goes. Yeah, so I'm gonna show you guys real quick. So if you have 2016 and you have set time zone automatically, that would change it for you. You would get like weird results. And let me switch the scene real quick, because right now it has rebooted. It looks like the operating system is installed and it's rebooted. This is always the scary part. So this is always the scary part, because you always wish it works. But I mean, if your deployment wasn't working, most likely you'd have got that nasty dialog box and it had been red and it said warning and error. Now you're gonna get this following window, because it's gonna try to talk to your WDS to, start the Pixi boot process. Just leave it alone. If you don't touch it, eventually it's going to continue the deployment process. So yes, there goes. So the Windows operating system is going to boot into the environment and continue the process. And Windows Server 2016, 64 bits already installed on the R730, still using unified mode. And we're going to take a look at the hard drive, because that means the hard drive should be a little higher than the 2.1 terabyte size limit that BIOS has. So that's awesome. All right. So again, with the issue with the time, I don't know what type of operating system are you using. Make sure there's no group policies being hit on that machine. Make sure there's no local group policies being hit on the machine. Make sure that it's fully patched. When you take it off the network, does the time still change? If it still changed, then something's going on with your machine and you really need to investigate, because it's probably a bug or something. All right, let's continue with the chat. And all right, again, we got a couple people already answering. This is why I love you guys. You guys are already on top of it. Awesome. Thank you guys. Great stuff. It could be a CMOS battery problem. That's another thing I didn't come across. Awesome. So I'm gonna switch the scene real quick, because it blacked out on me. It looks like it's gonna reboot again. It's rebooting. I don't know if you guys can hear the power of the purr of the kitty. I'm just reading a couple of things. We have Ben, maybe you're getting there, but for UEFI versus BIOS auto selection, I have the network admin add an IP helper to point to the W. Yup. See, that's another way. Ben, there's so many ways to tackle this. Well, I don't really know if there's a lot of ways, but the two ways that I know is, have DHCP work for you, the way that I have it configured here. Or again, if you have a network administrator, a network admin within your infrastructure or network, inside your office, that manages your network switches, let him get in there, configure it to do IP helper. IP helper point to your WDS, and then you're good to go. That's one less headache, rather than going inside your DHCP and creating all those policies. But if you don't have the power, or don't have like managed switches, or you have unmanaged switches and within your network, and you need to get this up and running, this is the way that you could do it. All right, let's go back into chatting, and I'm gonna, you guys still see the screen, right? No little magic fingers. It looks like it's booting right now. It's logging into the local admin. It's doing the policy. And the sucky thing about all this is that I don't have the final summary enabled within my custom settings INI file, so I don't really know when it's finished. But it looks like it's loading up. It is setting up the profiles. And I'm super excited because this video is pretty, this show is pretty short today. I'm trying to keep it less than an hour. We're going strong, 49 minutes. It looks like it's picked up my network. If you guys can see real quick, let me move the mic. So it's reading btnhd.edu. Yay. Awesome. Awesome. Cool. Awesome. So let me get into the PC Explorer. I'm maneuvering everything while I'm talking with my left hand. And let's go to this PC. And I don't know if you guys can see it. I probably can't. Oh, it's still gathering information. It's still finishing up its stuff. I'm going to move this to a little bit to the side. And right now, the C drive reads 3.58 terabytes. What? Superfly. That's awesome. Cool. Right now, it's loading up the server manager, basic stuff that we normally see when we install the Windows Server 2016. But we were successful. Awesome. Awesome. How awesome is that? Damn, today was quick and dirty, quick and easy today. It's all right. I'm gonna leave the live stream open for another 9 minutes. 4 o'clock, we could cut it off, but we were successful. It was pretty cut, clean, easy. Hopefully, it was easy for you guys. Hopefully, you guys learned a lot. And I'm gonna go back to the chat, see if I could talk to you guys, see if you guys have any questions. By adding IP here to the router, you don't need to add DHCP server options on the vendor class. Yep. Again, I agree with you, Ben. That's true. And got Jeff. Hi, Jeff. So yeah. Any more questions, guys? You guys have any more questions? Leave them at the chat. And remember, if you guys have any requests or any feedback, make sure you stop by later on and leave it at the comment section, because the live chat disappears once I cut the stream. It kind of sucks though. But we were successful, and I am super happy. Look at that. Sexy, beautiful, man. Cool, man. That's awesome. So we're going to give it 8 more minutes. If you guys have any more questions, leave it at the live chat. I'm going to try to answer them as much as possible, but I'm going to give it maybe 3 more minutes. We're going to end it at 3:55 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But we were successful with the image, and this is it right here. That time machine. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I'm going to show you guys real quick. That time machine 111. Deployed with no problem. Cool. All right, any more question, guys? Any more? All right, so it looks like we did pretty good. We did really good. We stayed 1 hour. 1 hour show is normally like 2 hours, but this time we kept it under an hour. And I'm going to give it 2 more minutes. I do appreciate all the love, the support for those individuals that tuned in. Thank you so much. If you have any requests, I know I don't have the notes for today's show. But make sure you stop by later on when the video is live and it's processed on the channel, and harass me at the chats to remind me so I could push it out for you guys. Overall, guys, okay, got Big R. Hey, Big R. So he said, I discovered that the boot name and DHCP option is only necessary if you want to run it from a different VLAN. Interesting. Now I don't really have any special VLANs. Everything is on the same VLAN. So let me go inside here, and within here, so it locked me out. You guys probably saying, what are you talking about? So let me show you real quick. Log into this because I didn't really create any VLANs. Everything's on VLAN 1. What's going on? Crap. Can't type today. There it goes. I didn't create any VLANs on this guy, so let's go inside the VLAN management. Oh, okay, right here. See? VLAN ID is 1. I'm using the default VLAN. I didn't really interface settings. I really didn't create a VLAN. I kept the VLAN 1, which is the default one for this smart switch. So yeah, I didn't really do any, I didn't create a VLAN at all. I just kept it as the default, and all the ports are on the same VLAN. Okay. Oh, that's a good one. Can you do a video on how to install and use IIS on server 2016? Ooh, that's a good one to do for the next show. I don't know if I'm going to do it. I do have a couple of SCCM stuff planned from the next show. Hopefully, hopefully, if everything goes well. And next week, I'm going to try to tackle SCCM because we did build an SCCM server together. We did the SQL. Everything is working and talking. We need to get in there, start doing our discovery boundaries, start doing all our other crap, and start getting it to work. Eventually, I'm going to have our MDT server that we've been using throughout the show, have that integrated within SCCM, and start pushing out Windows 10 using SCCM. So that's my plan for the couple of shows that are coming up. But I will keep that in mind. Gaming on PC, the IIS stuff. You never know. I might just surprise you guys and do it next week. Who knows? But overall, guys, I'm gonna cut right here. I'm gonna switch the scene one more time. It is beautiful. Windows Server 2016, 64 bits already installed. And for those individuals that tuned in, thank you so much again. I know it's Memorial Day weekend, so you probably are just getting ready to head out and do a BBQ. And I do appreciate you guys stopping by and just, tuning in. Again, thank you for the support. Make sure you hit that big like button, that big thumb support. If I most likely I'm going to forget. So make sure you come back to the video, leave a comment, harass me about the notes with the DHCP options and how to create the vendor class, because I have to work on that stuff and post it at the site so I can give it to you guys. So make sure you come back, harass me about that. And also make sure you share the video. Share it to whomever, A lot of you guys have great ideas. Make sure, again, come back to the video, leave the comments there, because all the stuff, all that goodness that you guys left from the live chat disappears. Okay? Other than that, guys, I love you so much. Thank you for the support, and I catch you guys on the server room. Peace out. All right? How you in this? I think the button that says stop streaming is the way to go, right? All right, I'm going to stop playing around. I'll see you guys later.